I thought Aunt Lydia was living with us. Then I found her journal in the basement. It had been years since Aunt Lydia had moved in with us. She arrived after her house burned down, bringing only a few belongings and an air of quiet sorrow. My parents welcomed her warmly, and she quickly became a part of our daily lives. She helped with chores, cooked delicious meals, and always had a kind word. Her presence was comforting, like a warm blanket on a cold night. But recently, strange things had begun happening around the house. It started with small, easily dismissible occurrences: a door left open, footsteps heard late at night, and whispered conversations when no one else was around. I chalked it up to the old house settling and my imagination running wild. One rainy afternoon, I decided to explore the basement. I love discovering old family treasures, and the basement was a treasure trove of forgotten memories. As I sifted through dusty boxes and old furniture, I stumbled upon an old, leather-bound journal tucked away in a corner. The cover was worn, but the initials LL were still visible. Curiosity piqued. I opened the journal and began to read. The entries were dated back several years, and the handwriting was unmistakably Aunt Lydia's, but what I read chilled me to the bone. The journal detailed her life before the fire, her fears, and her suspicions that someone was watching her. The last entry was dated the night of the fire and ended abruptly with a scrawled note, "He's here." My heart raced as I flipped through the pages. The more I read, the more I realized that the person living with us wasn't Aunt Lydia. The journal described a man who had become obsessed with her, who had followed her, and who, on the night of the fire, had finally caught up to her. The final pages detailed her desperate attempts to escape him. Panicked, I rushed upstairs to confront Aunt Lydia. She was in the kitchen, chopping vegetables with an eerie calm. When I asked her about the journal, her expression darkened, and a cold smile spread across her face. "You shouldn't have found that," she said, her voice low and menacing. In a flash, her demeanor changed. She moved with a speed and strength that wasn't natural. I ran, but she caught me easily, her grip like iron. "I've been waiting for this moment," she whispered, her breath hot against my ear. "Now, you'll join Lydia." My parents returned home to find the house empty. They called the police, who searched every corner but found no trace of us. The journal, too, was gone, as if it had never existed. The only sign that something was amiss was the faint smell of smoke lingering in the basement and the unsettling feeling that someone was watching them. To this day, the house remains haunted by the memory of Aunt Lydia and the mysterious figure who took her place. And somewhere, in the shadows, the imposter waits, ready to strike again.